What is up, friends and fellow anti-netters and fellow crazies? It is Scott Shepard here, coming at you live and in color, and I'm driving. And, for a while, to get momentum, this is about like a year to a year and a half ago, I conducted an experiment. And by conducted, I mean I executed an experiment where I decided to publish something every single day. And for a while, I was publishing podcasts every single day. And after a while, it was good. I liked it. The traction continued to pick up. And then I decided to shift over to writing. And that was at the Daily Scott Shepard, which is daily.scottshepard.com. And then soon after that, I started publishing short tweets and thoughts every single day. And I did this as an exercise to just put myself out there, sharpen and find my voice, get my thoughts out there. And I did it for quite some time. And I wanted to hop on here and do another one of those daily podcast type of formats and share some of my thoughts and what's going on right now. Because the reason is because I have a 20-minute drive to my office, and usually how I spend my time on this drive is I consume content. And while that is, I guess, an okay use of time, consuming podcast content and, getting thoughts from, copywriters or writers or independent thinkers and solopreneurs and listening to that type of stuff, I think it's far more productive and rewarding to produce content instead of consume content. And so today I've decided to try out a little experiment, resurrect the old daily podcast experiment. And I want to share with you something that's on my mind today. You see, I'm working on a top secret project that relates to helping people build out the type of dream writer's lifestyle that I have developed for myself. And that is a lifestyle wherein you get to spend your days reading, thinking, taking notes, and doing some writing, all to the tune of making a six-figure living, multi-six-figure living. And I've been able to craft, and it's taken me, I like to think a ton. So I don't like to just act and test crazy. I like to also put a lot of thought and sharpen the axe, to use that one story about, I think it was like the myth goes that Abraham Lincoln was given an axe or something, George Washington, who knows, insert whatever historical figure that has taken on a heroic role, okay? And they said, hey, you have 8 hours to cut down this cherry tree. And, the wise figure, the heroic figure said, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and spend, 6 of those 8 hours sharpening the axe and then 2 hours cutting down the tree, right? So I'm relating that to the idea of spending a lot of time thinking through the strategy of what you do, and then, maybe 20% of your time spent on executing and tweaking that strategy. And so I've spent about 80% of my time over the past several years thinking through the dream solopreneur, solo intellectual, one-man wolf pack dream type of business where you get to spend your days reading, thinking, writing while making a six-figure living. And I believe I have crafted that. Now, I am working right now behind the scenes on crafting the whole message behind that and crafting the story. And I like to follow something. It's a framework called an Epiphany Bridge framework, and I'm not going to go into that right now. However, I was talking with one of my close friends, mentors, and advisors who I lean on to just bounce ideas off of. And I was telling him about my, working Epiphany Bridge kind of origin story to explain this whole model. This model I've, crafted and executed and created, which essentially allows you to live this dream intellectual life where you get to spend your days reading, thinking, writing, and really only spending time, like 1 hour, well, maybe 2 hours per week, writing one email a week, and then also doing another activity once a month. And the model is set up such that just those inputs will allow you to, like, if done right, if you structure everything right, it'll allow you to have this, dream solopreneur, solo thinker, solo intellectual lifestyle. Okay, so anyway, I'm explaining to my friend and advisor the model, or the story of how I want to explain it. And his feedback was, one thing you gotta make sure stay away from is, people want an absolute killer, insane opportunity. Like, they're crowded with messages. If you go onto YouTube, for instance, this is how I'm relating it. These are not his words, but if you go onto YouTube and do something that I've done recently, I turned off my YouTube premium subscription so that I can start seeing ads and, all the messages out there. And if you do this, you'll see like there's just tons of messages, hey, start a social media agency, you'll make, $20K a month, start a YouTube channel or YouTube agency without even using your face, and you'll make, $20K a month. Here's my earnings. I've made $4 million. Here's how to make, and then, like, there's like these ridiculous claims and figures out there. Like, here's how to make $100,000 a month. And my claim is a lot more modest than that, because it's grounded in really just non-bullshit, Amazon drop shipping, selling crappy products to crappy people. That's what 96% of the messages are like out there. They're kind of like that. So my essential claim is, no, like, I'm not going to promise that, but what I will promise is a proven, and I'll show you every single step of the way, a method and a model for how to make six figures in 6 months. Or essentially, I'm so confident in that model and this model that if you execute it and you don't hit that, then I'll work for you for free until you hit that. Like, that's how confident I am in this model. And, he was, I don't think he was saying this, but he, indicated that, well, out there right now are just like these insane, almost, irresistible opportunities. So you need to make sure yours is irresistible and an amazing opportunity like that. But I'm thinking of this and I'm like, well, my customers, my dream people are not those types of people that are, the 21 to 26 year old, video game playing, college dropout, lazy, wants to get rich without putting in a lot of work, and wants to do it while, playing World of Warcraft or League of Legends or whatever these kids play these days, these young whippersnappers play these days. So that's my thoughts. Is like, like, I don't want to change my message. It would be inauthentic, and then also by doing that, I'm going to attract a lot of these dipshits that I don't even want to work with anyway. They would be, my nightmare customers. My dream customers are those that the idea of living the intellectual, one-person lifestyle is appealing to. And by the way, I'm driving right now as I'm speaking to you, so mind some pauses. I'm actually, looking left and right before I'm turning, and that's why I'm, pausing, or that's why I just paused. Anyway, but that's my overall thought. Is I definitely think that point is super valid. Like, anything that you create and introduce to people, you need to make sure is a phenomenal opportunity and worthy of their time. Yes, but you also need to make sure that it is so completely authentic to what you do and who you want to serve. And even if the claims are modest in comparison, like my claims would be, hey, here's my stats, here's everything. I'm going to show you how to build a six-figure income for yourself. And the model is simple. I'm not introducing everything. I'm just saying, here is the core components. It's about 3 or 4 components. And let's just focus on this. And I'm going to make sure that you execute on this and help you get there. So that is essentially my stance and take. And I know my advisor, he's on the same page as me. I'm just thinking because I've seen so many of these claims on YouTube, of these irresistible offers, that it gave me pause yesterday, and I really wanted to think through and make sure that that I am focusing on the right person and the right dream customer, the right dream client. And that I think is the most important part, is, to create something that you authentically believe in and are passionate about. And so I think I wanted to talk it out with you, and I didn't really know, where I was going in the general direction. I knew, but I wanted to talk it out with you and remind you, it's I think one of the best things I ever did with the Anti-Net Zettelkasten and that whole book and that world is I followed my fascination and passion. And what ended up happening was I ended up attracting a lot of the people and characters that I really respect and value. These are, marketers and copywriters, like a person like Ed Dale, who was worked with Gary Halbert, a copywriter that, if you know anything about me, I value and look up to and was inspired by. And several other figures have been attracted into my orbit, and I built a whole movement because they've seen my authenticity. Earlier this week, I went to dinner with a friend, and he's also a Scott Shepherd Letter subscriber. And, it's in these people, are constantly in my orbit, and I'm able to actually develop and establish and create these awesome relationships and connections. And there's potentially an opportunity that may come out of that, that meeting. And then even last week, I'm working on, another venture and project that has come to me because I created a movement and a tribe around my brand, around my calling. And so by focusing on the authentic and the thing that you're passionate about and the people that you actually want to focus on, that is the route to go. And so this was essentially just a reminder for you and for me and for, everyone. Whenever you're crafting something, crafting something of value for people, whether that be a book, a course, a new venture, an idea. Let's say you're, working on, let's say you work a day job in insurance, which pays the bills, but you're passionate about something else, right? Is when you go out and do that something else, if your goal is to make a 6-figure income from that, it should not necessarily be, and I think there's wisdom in trying to tie both of them together, but you don't want to necessarily create something that's like, hey, here's how to be a great insurance salesman, right? You're not passionate about that pays the bills. What you do want to create is something and pursue that fascination and passion, because who you're going to end up is going to end up creating a complete life of financial freedom and opportunity. Like for me, I've created a whole movement around my brand, my name, and I have a whole tribe of people who I know, like, and trust, and they know, like, and trust me. And with that, I'm set for life, right? I can continue to serve these people, create new products, things that help them, things that I'm fascinated with. Some may like the things that I'm fascinated with at the time, others may not, But that's fine. They'll still stay in my orbit, and the next product I create, they'll be fascinated with, and we'll just link it together. So anyway, the moral of this story is to pursue the authentic fascination and passion. And that is, one core lesson. All right. Anyway, hope that helps. Hope that gives you some interesting thought. Peace and love. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.